Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen wa salatu wa salam ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Okay, I'm here with, of course, none other than Brother Hassan Clay
MashaAllah.
from that Clay couple. And inshallah ta'ala, we're going to talk about a concept that we discussed earlier during the talk, and that is the difference between being single, being unmarried, and being married. That these three terms, they convey a different mentality with the people who use them.
Right.
So hopefully after this discussion, we will never refer to ourselves as single. You might want to use...
Or depending on what you want, you might decide to do that. But let's have an understanding of the word that you are actually using.
Okay, so
that
what's it does. So what's the difference between being single and being unmarried?
Okay, how we look at it, and Assalamu alaikum, and how we look at it is when a person is single, they're really doing things from an independent perspective. They're doing things. They're not really making room for anyone else in their life. They're not transitioning. That's because we look at those three phases as transitional phases. When you're single, you're not really doing anything to really incorporate somebody else into your life. You kind of, it's not really so much as selfish, but I will say selfish for lack of a use of another word, because I don't want nobody to really think at it from a negative connotation. But selfish is selfish, and you only thinking about self. Your whole outlook is about self, what you got going on. But when you start looking at the unmarried, you start making room for somebody else to come into your life. You start looking at some of your idiosyncrasies, how you going to try to massage them and get yourself better and heal a little bit from some of the stuff that you might be going through. Or, you may start making room and, you have a whole bunch of single things going on. You might start even cleaning out some of your own personal space. Not only mentally, but physically. You start moving out things that allow somebody else to come into your space. You don't think about, well, this is my couch, this is my house, this is mine, this is mine.
Well, that's a selfishness.
It is. That's what I'm saying, because that is selfish. And you start thinking of, okay, how can I prepare my life to be able to share it with someone else other than, and this is what some people do, they single and they jump from the unmarried phase and get married, and what they do is, well, I want to be with somebody, but I still want to do my own thing.
Right.
And that's not marriage. Your own thing, even though you have you still have your identity. Your individuality. But the reality of it is you, it's your spouse, and it's the relationship.
Right.
And you have to do some things now to mature the relationship. Right. And you have to start moving things out of that selfish space, that single space, and allow yourself to be unmarried.
So basically what you're saying is that when people are single, they basically have this mentality that, I have my life. And now that I'm married, I shouldn't have to give up my life simply because I'm married. I should still be able to go out when I want to go out, hang out with my friends. I should still be able to maintain my same schedule, even though I'm married. And you're basically in a marriage, but you're functioning like you're single.
Like you're single.
You're functioning like you're single.
You're still doing some things that really doesn't allow the other person to occupy some space in your life.
There you go.
And so when you start, and it is selfish, because now how can you help stimulate growth in the other person? How can you get stimulation and grow from that person that you just married, man or woman? If you're a man, you married a woman. If you're a woman, you married a man. How can you get the growth from that other person? You can't. because you stuck on you. Like, for instance, I know a couple who the guy is married to, he's married, he just got married, but he refuses to give up his golf on a Thursday or Sunday. Refuse. Now, he's married and the woman has children.
Right.
He's married and the children need some type of guidance. They might need to go to the school to do some activities for the kids, or he might need to do I'm not going to do that because this is my golf day.
Right.
Unwilling
to compromise.
Unwilling to negotiate, or not unwilling to give up something for the betterment of the family. Because it's no longer just him.
And then sometimes when a person is in a relationship like this, and someone asks them, to give that up, they feel like they're compromising what they believe is,
right.
their exclusive right to their life.
Right.
And when you get married, your life is no longer exclusively yours.
Right.
You've made a conscious choice, a conscious decision to share your life
with
or at least bits and pieces of the bulk of your life with somebody else.
No, it's the bulk of your life because she or he is a cover for he and she.
Right.
You can't be selfish and be a cover for somebody else.
Right. That's the description Allah gives in the Quran, that, man is a cover from the woman and the woman is a cover for the man.
Exactly. Exactly. So in itself denotes lack of single or selfishness.
Right.
Because you have to give up something. You're going to have to experience a little a one step back for two steps forward.
Right.
You're going to have to experience that. So when you start preparing yourself to be, when you unmarried, you are now preparing.
Okay, so
yourself.
let's go into that category. So the second category is unmarried. So what does it mean to be unmarried?
Okay, this is again when you are now beginning to move. Like, for instance, we always use a example of the sister who has a job. She has a nice career, but she has no room in her own bed because her laptop and her paperwork and everything else is in her bed with her, right? So she has to move that space to allow space for her mate to come in. You have to start this you just can't start it when, I'm deciding to get married. Now I'm just going to start moving space and I'm going to start mentally moving space. No, you have to mentally prepare yourself for someone else, regardless of who it is.
Right. And this is even before you get married.
This is before you get married.
Before you get married. A lot of people, they wait until they get married.
Right.
And then they start to realize, I got to make space for this other person. And then it's like, it's not happening fast enough. And people get frustrated. The husband is getting frustrated or the wife is getting frustrated because the person is not making room for them fast enough. You don't know to what level of intensity a person is going to come into your life.
Right.
You understand? Like, you don't know.
Right.
You might come in, he had his life over here, you had your life over there. Y'all merge your lives together, and it's a slow process.
It's a slow process.
But sometimes that process is intensified, or it's
sped up.
It's sped up because of other things that happen.
Exactly.
Let's say, for example, you marry as a woman, you marry a man, and he has children from a previous marriage. But when he remarries, let's just say his ex-wife decides, you keep the kids. Now, what started off as just a marriage between you and your spouse, now overnight,
you have become a full-fledged family.
You've become a full-fledged family overnight. It's literally that simple. It can literally happen like that. So sometimes we don't get to decide to what degree of intensity a person is going to come into our lives and how much they're going to bring of their lives into our lives.
Exactly.
But if proper preparation prevents poor performance, if you start making preparations ahead of time, knowing, I'll give you an example. Some sisters who are single mothers, right? You're a single mother.
And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm even caution in using that phrase.
Okay, single mother. Let's not use single mother. Right. Let's just say a woman who's
a mother and she's co-parenting with someone.
She's co-parenting
with someone.
let's say a woman is co-parenting with her ex-husband, right? And pay attention to the language. We don't want to use a single mother anymore because you're not a single mother.
You're not a single mother.
If the husband, the ex-husband is co-parenting with you, you are not a single mother. You're not doing that by yourself. So we need to change that language.
Who's unmarried who has children.
Right. So you are co-parenting with your ex-spouse,
Exactly.
your ex-husband. All right. So let's say a woman is co-parenting with her ex-husband. And, she allows the children to come in the room anytime they want. There's no restrictions. It's just her and the kids, all right, at home. And then she gets married. Instead of preparing the children saying, okay, you guys can't come in my room anymore. You can't come in my bedroom anymore unannounced.
Right.
She waits all the way up until she gets married. And the children are barging into the room. Right. While the husband is now in the space. She didn't prepare for marriage. She went from being single to being married.
To being married.
She skipped the unmarried phase because she didn't make the preparations. Am I right?
That's
Am I
correct.
understanding
That's
that
correct. That's correct.
Right?
I like to equate it like this. It's like a dude coming from the joint, right? And he gets out on a certain date. And he knew this 2 years ago. And instead of preparing his life to get ready to get out.
Get ready to get out.
He waits 2 weeks or a week before he get ready to get out. And then all of a sudden he going, yeah, man, what I need to do. Now he's trying to figure out what is going his parole plan.
Right, exactly.
Now he wants to sit there and start, okay, I'm gonna need a job, I'm gonna need some clothes, I'm gonna need this, I'm gonna need that. Now he has all these things.
Meanwhile, you knew 6 months ago when your release date was.
Exactly. You knew this date was coming, but you waited and delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed. I equate that same thing when people are talking about single going into being married. At some point you want to be married. You want a relationship with another person. So start developing your life for that. Even if you are divorced, and let me say this, even if you are divorced, it doesn't make a difference. Because if you're divorced, then that means you're no longer with someone. Do you want to be with someone else again? Okay, sure. Now, let me see what was some of the trauma that I might have went through with with my ex. Let me see what was going on. I am now preparing myself for that. I'm not wallowing in it. I'm not, I'm not going through it. There's a moment that, you have to get over it. Now, don't get wrong. There's a moment that you're going to try to get over whatever the drama or the trauma that you might have went through, man or woman. That's a gimme. But at some point you start moving, then you start saying, you know what, I'm not going to be a woman. I'm not going to be a man who's going to be by myself. So let me start preparing my life now to get, even if it's leaving the baggage, where it is, unpacking my baggage so I know I don't take this to another person. This is you being unmarried, preparing yourself for marriage. This is not you just being single. I'm just going to do me. I ain't going to worry about that fool. I ain't going to worry about this. I'm going to get on. I'm going to get myself together. And, if he right, then he going to be right. If he ain't,
you do you and I'm going to do me.
I'm going to do me and you can do you and I'm going to do me. What is that?
That is not the mentality of a married person.
Of a married person.
Okay, so now let's trickle now into what it means to be married. What does being married look like? We talked about being single. We talked about what it means to be single. And that is pretty much a very selfish mentality. And that's not to say that everybody that is single is selfish. That's not what that means.
That's not what that means.
It doesn't mean that everybody that is single is selfish. But
has some type of negative connotation to
it. But the mentality that comes along with being single, that means that I'm emotionally unattached to anybody. I don't have any attachments to anybody. And the focus is now on me. So there is a degree of selfishness that comes along with being single.
It is.
You don't have anybody to worry about but you.
No.
You don't have anybody to worry about. You go and come as you please. There is no, you don't have to make any emotional deposits into anybody's bank. Nobody has to make emotional deposits into your bank.
Right. Unless and the only place you got is your kids. And that's just an extension of you.
If you have kids. Right. So when I say selfish, it doesn't mean that you don't care about anybody else. It just means that when you have the mentality of somebody who is single, it means that your main focus, you are the only priority in your life.
Exactly.
That's what that means.
Exactly.
That when you are single, you are the only priority in your life.
Exactly.
When you are unmarried, no,
You
it's
are
not.
preparing-
It's not a narcissism.
It's not narcissism. No, it's not narcissism.
You guys are not understanding what we're
This
saying.
Is not narcissism. This is not narcissism.
It's not a narcissism.
Narcissism is something totally different.
Right. We're saying that when you have the mentality that I'm single, you go and come as you please. You don't have to be anywhere.
I don't answer to nobody.
I don't have to answer to nobody. Right. Exactly. All right. And you remain in that state. You're not working yourself out of that state to understand, okay, I am looking to get married, or at some point I want to be married. So I start to need to be conscious of my time.
Exactly.
I start to need to be conscious of the time that I spend with friends, realizing that at some point, once I do get married, all of those long hours that we spend with friends and things like that, that's going to change.
That's going to change.
Because somebody else is now in our lives
space.
and they require that time and energy.
Exactly.
Okay, so then we talked about being married. Being married is that you're now making the preparation.
That's unmarried. You're
unmarried.
You're making a preparation to get married. So you are now easing this thing out. I don't really hang out with the boys like I used to.
Right, because I'm about to get married.
I'm looking to get married. I am doing something else with my time. I am working on me to be able to share my life with someone else.
Right.
And when I get married now, because that's the question you asked a second ago, when I'm married, that means I am willing, I am committed.
Somebody said transitioning.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Transitioning.
It's transitioning. And now you are saying, I am willing and committed to sharing my life with someone else.
Right.
I am going to take in the concerns for you, just like you're going to take in the concerns for me.
Right.
When you bleed, I want to make sure I bandage you up and get you right. I ain't going to say bleed. Well, put a Band-Aid on and let's get it.
Right.
No, I care for you. I care, and you are caring for me. And we have a relationship that I have to take some of those idiosyncrasies that are mine. I have to kind of make sure I work them out. She's taking those that are hers. She's working them out. And we're trying to mature the relationship. Right. We're trying to grow up the relationship. Right. We want the relationship to stand on its full-fledged. Like the brother was saying yesterday, it's no longer just a skeleton.
Right.
It got real flesh and blood.
Flesh and bone.
We got flesh and bone. We got organs. We got muscle. We got veins. We got arteries. We got all type of things going on to make this thing a living entity. Our marriage is living. It breathes. It has life, and we're feeding it.
We're feeding it.
We are feeding it.
Making deposits.
We're making deposits. That's marriage.
That's marriage.
That is marriage.
Okay, you guys, you got that? You guys got that? So we're still here at the conference, and we just figured we'd take the time out to kind of just explain. I posted this on my Instagram page, and a sister went on the page and just totally misunderstood what I was trying to say. And went on this long rant about her not being selfish or whatever. And that's not what we're saying.
That's not what we're saying. That's not what's said.
That's not what's being said.
And when you said it, I said, well, let's educate.
Right.
Let's educate. Let's let people know what it is that we're talking about, because we really need to change the paradigm of the words that we use. Right. We really need to.
The language. The language. That whole, I'm single, I'm a single mother, or single father. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we have to learn how to change this language. So we're no longer using, in the Islamic community, we're no longer using the term single. That is for non-Muslims. That's not for us. Because as a Muslim, even though you are not married, we understand that marriage is part of our religion. And nobody should sit back and say, I'm never getting married again. I don't ever want to be married again. That's not the sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I am unmarried at the moment. That doesn't mean that I'm single. I'm unmarried. Right? So we're changing this language from being single to unmarried, because to non-Muslims, being single has a different meaning for them. It means freedom and liberty and detachment from the institution of marriage. And we are never detached from the institution of marriage.
I know I'm a little older than most of y'all, right? And so I remember back in the day, the little group Cameo used to have the song, I'm living a single life.
Right, single life.
Right. And it talks about a whole bunch of stuff that was only dealing to the person's individual wants and desires. It had nothing to do with anything else. Now, if you single and I'm single, we decide to get together and do what single people do, then okay, cool. But after that, I got no commitment. I have no, nothing for you.
Right.
And you have nothing for me. I don't want anything else from you, and you don't want. But the only thing I want from you is what I'm asking for.
That's right.
And then after that, go about your business.
That's right.
And that's not what Muslims. That's not who we are. That's the mindset of being single.
Right.
As Muslims, that's not what we're talking about. We're saying, okay, I'm unmarried, and as I think that's the hadith where it says, when a person, until he gets married, he's unmarried, he needs to fast and stay unmarried and get fast, and so he doesn't do anything that gets him caught up. He didn't say stay single.
Right.
And now the Arabic terminology in that than a lot of us. So does he say anywhere be single?
No.
Okay.
That's not a part of our religion.
That's not a part of our deen. So,
and believe it or not, let me just share this with you guys. Umar bin Khattab, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he saw a man and he asked the man, are you married? Umar saw a man and he asked the man, are you married? The man said, no, I'm not married. And Umar, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said to the man that you are not married for one or two reasons. He said, either you're just too lazy to do what it takes to get married, or you already engaging in something that is haram. There's no other way to say it. So all of you right now who's saying I'm single or I'm not married, I'm unmarried right now, you are either working on yourself right now, or you're too lazy because you don't want to fix yourself. You don't want to do what it takes. So you sit around year after year after year go by and you say, well, I don't want to be married right now because I'm not ready for marriage. You're not ready for marriage because you're just waiting for the right person to come along and just take all your baggage, put it in the trunk, and ride off into the sunset with your baggage.
Right.
Because if you are unmarried right now, then that means that you are working on yourself. I'm working on myself in preparation to be in a relationship with somebody. Nobody just sitting around single, right? Nobody just sitting around single.
We shouldn't be.
So Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said that you are either single because you are too lazy to do what it takes to get married, or you already engaging in something that is haram.
Mm-hmm.
So those of you who are unmarried right now,
I challenge that even more so with my brothers.
For the men.
For the men, because really, you have no reason to be unmarried. Getting prepared, you know what? I'm gonna prepare myself to get married. I need to get my finances a little bit better, or whatever the case may be. But some of us. Unfortunately, some of us are out there with these girlfriends,
non-Muslim women,
and or tricking Muslim women. Now, just tell the truth. Some of us are even tricking Muslim women, and then and because a lot of us, and I know for sure, I know plenty of you. I don't know if they're on your Periscope, but I know plenty of you who has nice jobs. You got your nice cars, your nice trucks. You got a place to stay, but you're looking well, but you playing women.
Right.
You bouncing around with these different women. You're not settling down because you don't want to take the responsibility. You're lazy. You don't want to take the responsibility of taking care of a sister.
So in many brothers' cases, and going back to the statement of Umar, they fall into both categories. Exactly. You lazy and you don't want to be responsible and get married, and you engaging in something that is haram. You're doing both.
You're doing both.
There's no way in the world that the Muslim men in the community should be single. There should be no single brothers. Like during the time of the Salaf, during the time of the scholars in the past, being single was a tarnish on your honor as a man. There were no men just walking around the community single. Like that was seen as a nux, as a deficiency in your manhood that you were single. While today we sit back and we say, "No, I ain't single. I ain't looking to get married either. I'm good on marriage.
I'm good on marriage."
How you a man and you good on marriage?
But then you having relationships,
right.
You know, and that's
That's the thing. If they
Right.
say I'm good on marriage, that means that I'm okay with committing fornication and adultery.
Exactly.
I.e., that's what that means. When you say I'm good on marriage, then that doesn't mean that you good on zina and fornication. That doesn't mean when you say I'm good on marriage that I'm I'm celibate and I'm not engaging
every other day.
Right, I'm fasting every other day. Right. When you say I'm good on marriage, that means that I am okay disobeying a law, committing fornication and adultery.
Exactly.
Rather than going into a responsible relationship, right?
Right. Exactly.
I'm okay. I'm good on marriage.
That's single.
Right.
And that's being single.
There you go.
And that's being single.
There you go.
And now you see a real difference. That's being single. And I'm going to be honest with you because I don't know, especially if you're young, I know you want a woman. I know you want to be with a companion. So prepare yourself to be married and get married.
Can you give us a couple of tips, maybe like 5 tips that single brothers and unmarried brothers and sisters can do to prepare themselves for marriage?
Well, first and foremost, always, try to, remember that Allah is ever watching us. So hopefully in that's going to keep you from, just trying to keep yourself mindful of falling into the haram. That's one. I won't even use that as one of the ones, but we're going to plate everything up under that. Next, prepare yourself. What is it that I need from a person? What is it that I'm looking for in a spouse? What is it that I bring?
So basically, itemizing your expectations.
Exactly, and being realistic about your expectations. Everybody's not going to have everything checked off.
Right.
And in that, figure out what it is that you are willing to work with. Because everybody's not going to show up, perfect.
Right.
None of us are perfect. I know I come with my deficiencies and my defects, and so is she. So, but what am I willing to work with? Can I work with, if she got a little mouth on her? How much mouth do I can't take? What is that? Do she have kids? Okay, maybe she has 2 or 3. Can I deal with a woman who has 2 or 3 children? Maybe I don't want 4 or 5 children, but maybe I can deal with someone who has 1, 2, or 3 kids. Maybe I can do that. Look at what it is that you are willing to deal with and accept, and be realistic, and know that you bring something too. You bring some deficiencies too. And how am I willing to work on these deficiencies that I have to be able to improve so I can be a good person for her or a good person for him?
Okay, so let me itemize. Let me itemize those. All right. So the first thing, basically, is to work on your relationship with Allah.
Exactly.
If you're looking to be married, then the first step in preparation for being married is working on your relationship with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And
not that religiosity.
Right.
Either.
We're talking about spirituality.
We're talking about spirituality. Right. Not that whole, I pray every day.
I pray 5 times a day. No, we're talking about having a real relationship with Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, because Sheikh Ubaidullah mentioned yesterday that if a person, he mentioned a narration from one of the scholars of the past, that there's no person who has ever experienced the sweetness of faith except that he experienced the sweetness of faith in his marriage.
Exactly.
Facts. There's no one that has tasted the halawatul iman, that tastes the sweetness of faith right? Sweetness in their faith, except that they tasted the same sweetness in their marriage. Meaning, when you work on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that begins to transcend just your relationship with Allah over into your relationship with your spouse.
Exactly. Or your spouse.
You understand?
Exactly.
So, number one, work on your relationship. Don't be out here not praying, not fasting, not doing what it takes. And then when you get married, all right, I'm going to pray when sisters, you guys are famous for this. I'm going to wear hijab and I'm going to pray once I get married. Brothers are famous for that. And you learn nothing about the deen. And then when you're ready to get married, now you start reading all these books. You go to the bookstore and you're buying books about marriage. You're buying books about, Tawheed. You wasn't memorizing or learning none of this stuff before you. Like, why do you wait until right when you in the process of getting married? Now you want to start, educating yourself and getting more religious and getting more into you in the masjid more because you know how Wali is watching you.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? Like,
that's
come
that
on,
dude.
man.
That's that dude who's trying to get out in 2 weeks and now he's trying to get his life together.
What do you mean?
That from getting out from prison.
That's
that dude there. He been knowing this is coming for the last 6-7 months, but now the last 2 weeks, now he wants to try to get himself together. That's the same type of person. Now they they done spent a minute on buying books that they cannot read all these books. They on the internet all day long.
Right.
They having these conversations. They trying to do this. They trying to do that. They trying to quiz. They trying to ear hustle different things or whatever the case may be to try to show that I'm on my deen.
Right. And show up at the sit down, regurgitating all of this, inshallah, mashallah,
Okay.
right? So,
They done spit every Arabic term that they known in the first 15 minutes.
So
sit down.
Work on, number one, in preparation for marriage, work on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Seriously. Because all of that will expose itself once you get married.
Exactly.
Work on your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, in preparation of marriage, itemize your expectations. What do you expect from the person when they come into your life? Because perhaps your expectations are not realistic. Maybe you have unrealistic expectations, and the mother of all frustration is unrealistic expectations.
And I would say this, and I'll say this before: don't come into the business or don't come into this situation with 2-3 pages of expectations. Really, it's going to be 3 to 5 core expectations that a person is going to have. Everything else will start being either redundant or it's just a bunch of foolishness.
Right.
It's going to be 3 to 5 prioritized expectations.
Your expectations.
It's going to be 3 to 5 that you're going to that if I don't have these 3 to 5 things right here, I will not be able to survive in this relationship.
Right. So it's not itemize your expectations, it's prioritize it. Because you might have a whole list of expectations, but you have to prioritize those expectations. What means the most for you?
Exactly.
What do you need in order to thrive in a relationship? And as he said, that can't be any more than about 3 to 5 things.
3 to 5.
Okay? You need emotional availability. You need loyalty. You need trust. These are the things. You might need, financial stability. Right. Whatever it is.
And then even in that, Akeem Wallahi, drill in to those 5. What do those, like you said, I need emotional availability. What is emotional availability?
For you.
For you.
Right.
What does that mean for you? Okay, when I say emotional availability, I may come in from work because I have a very strenuous job. I may come in from work and I'm frustrated and I need you to be emotionally available for me. I don't need you to sit there and tell me nothing. I need you to listen.
Right.
That's emotion. That's being emotional available for me. I need you to listen.
Right.
I don't need you to advise me. I don't need you, I don't really need you to stroke my head. I don't need you to run my bath water. I don't need anything. I just need to be able to offload that frustration that I got from my job. That's emotional availability for me. But it might be something totally different for Shadid.
Right. And then on top of, prioritizing your expectations, you got to be able to be transparent about your expectations with the person that's in the relationship with you.
So you have to be able to articulate.
You got to be able to articulate that. We don't always know what the other person needs until you explain it. You say, well, you're not there for me. What does that mean? What does it mean that I'm not there for you? How do you need me to be there for you?
Exactly.
Please explain what that means. It's like, oh, come on, don't you know what that means? You've been married before. You know, yeah, but I was married before. But I was married to somebody else. I wasn't married to you before. Somebody else might have said, I need you to be there for me, but their interpretation of that is different than your interpretation. We're not mind readers. We're human beings. I don't know exactly what you need until you spell it out for me. All right. So that's number one, is to build your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number two, prioritize your expectations. Number three, to be transparent with your, future spouse about your expectations of them.
What is a standard?
Right.
What is the standard that I'm looking for in this expectation? Because this is what it means. This standard and this expectation actually means that I have a value attached to it.
Right.
And then that way you can be transparent and letting that person know what is the value. Why do you value education so much?
Right.
Or why do you value financial stability so much?
Why is that important to you?
Why is that important to you?
Right.
You
may have grown up in a family where financial stability was all you know. That's all you know. You don't know how to function in a relationship where there is no financial stability. You didn't grow up, or vice versa. You grew up poor, and you just don't want to live like that.
Live like that again.
Right. So, number one, work on your relationship with Allah. Number two, to prioritize your expectations. Number three, to be transparent about your expectations. Number four is to do inventory of your strengths and your weaknesses. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we in the business world, we might call it a SWOT analysis.
SWOT analysis.
Right. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. I have some strengths. There's some weaknesses. There's some opportunities for me to do better. And here are the threats. Here's some barriers.
Right.
That keeps me from doing it.
Right.
So what are your strengths? What is it that you bring to the table?
Right.
Okay, what weaknesses do you bring to the table? Do you get angry quick? Do you get frustrated easy? Do you have anxiety issues?
Right.
It can be a multitude of things. Here's some opportunities. What are some opportunities that you can really find out and do?
And there's no better time. There's no better time to find out what your weaknesses are than when you are unmarried. Because you are out of a relationship and now you got time to sit back and do inventory.
Right.
You got time to sit back and look at all of the mistakes that were made in your previous relationships and begin to do inventory. Take stock of your weaknesses.
And
you understand?
And here's
it's really hard to do that when you're in a relationship because so much is coming at you so fast. You don't really have time to sit down and do inventory.
But that's when a person really needs to kind of peel back and start reflecting.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's a whole nother conversation, though.
Right.
But in this, if you're saying I'm by myself, I'm unmarried, I'm by myself at this moment, I'm unmarried, and so here's my strengths, where are some opportunities so I can heighten up my strengths? Because you're not going to eliminate one or whatever the case may be, but maybe I can reduce the possibilities of being in this position again. What is it that I can do? And where's the opportunity? And what are the threats? What are the barriers that are keeping me from being able to realize this? So as SWOT, SWOT. Somebody look it up. Go into your Google, look it up. You'll find out something nice about it. And so do that with your life. Take a self-inventory about you. Go in and look at you. What is it that I bring to the table on both ends of it? Because this is what that person that I'm coming into, getting together with, this is what they have to know about me.
Right.
These are the things that, he's a good brother. Okay. What makes this dude a good brother? Or this is a good sister? What makes this woman a good sister? You know, tell me that. Just don't tell me, you know, well, I see him at the masjid. Okay, you see him at the masjid, but what else in life? And I show you something that I do. My daughters were, just a quick story. My daughters, guys came to me about my daughters. And I tell them I'm a sucker for Islam. So, you know, you just tell me.
Not a sucker for love. You're
right,
I'm a sucker
for Islam. Right, you know. And so I sit there and, you know, God tell me, Alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar. You know, he done read this book and read that book. And, you know, I'm like, ooh, I get fascinated with that, right? But then I know that about myself. So I have to push beyond that. Okay, so tell me about you.
Right.
Who are you? You know, what makes you the person you are? What are some of the things, when you've gotten mad before, what was it that you've done? What have you done when you got mad? What did you hit the wall? You know, did you just storm off and be gone for a couple of days? You know, you like to work. Okay, what type of work do you like to do? You know, you want to drive trucks? Okay, so, okay, you drive trucks. You want a long haul? You want to be around? Because I want to know how often you're going to be there to protect my daughter.
Right.
You know, so that's something that you have to figure out about yourself. That's something that you have to figure out about yourself.
Y'all ready?
I just wanted to, y'all doing it?
Yeah.
Who's this right here?
Y'all ready?
Sister Jenna.
One of the.
Okay.
I'm not ready. I just want to give y'all an update.
Okay.
But I can wait if y'all.
We're almost done.
We're almost
Give me
done.
about 5
Give me
minutes
like
or so.
5 minutes.
Okay.
All right, so the last thing, let me reiterate. Number one is to strengthen your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Don't wait until you get married to work on your relationship with God. Work on your relationship with Allah ahead of time. You're unmarried, you have nothing but time. Get up at the third of the night and pray. Mm-hmm. You know, you ain't worn out from sexual relations and you got to get up in the morning and make a ghusl. You ain't got to go through, that's married people problems. That's married people problems. You're unmarried, so you shouldn't have that problem, right? Mm-hmm. You shouldn't have to worry about being, you know, exhausted because you came in from work, you had sexual relations with your spouse, and you just sleep all the way to Fajr, get up and make a ghusl. Like, that's not your struggle.
Issue. Right.
That's not your struggle right now. Your struggle right now is getting up in the third of the night and praying. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Getting up, taking advantage of your time. You know, reading Quran, turning the TV off, right? A lot of you guys are unmarried. You at home, you binge watch Netflix, this, that. Man, turn the TV off. Mm-hmm. Stop dumbing yourself down. That's actually infringing on the happiness that your future happiness with your spouse. Turn the TV off. Build a better relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Number 2 is to prioritize your expectations. Mm-hmm. Number 3 is to be transparent. Learn how to articulate your expectations to your future spouse. And number 4 is to take inventory, a SWOT analysis of your weaknesses and your strengths, so that you know what your capacity is, you know what you're capable of and what you are not capable of. Mm-hmm. And the last thing, what is the last thing that an unmarried person can do in preparation for marriage? I would say, I want you to choose one, but I would say is to be aware of what you're looking for. I think a lot of time we chasing ghosts. And if you don't know what you're looking for, then you're going to end up with the wrong person. I think it's imperative that, you know, while you are not married, for you to take a look at the thread that connects the people that you have been married to or in a relationship with in the past, and you got to look at the thread that connects all. What is it about these people that you were married to these people? What is the thread that connects all of them? What is it that know exactly what you're looking for? Stop having sit down with random people. You can look at a profile and tell that this is not what I'm looking for. Stop having sit downs with people just because the person is available to have a sit down with. It's okay to say, no, I'm not interested because this person does not meet my preferences. That is not what I'm looking for. You know, and the only way that you can know what you're looking for is when you know yourself.
Right. And,
you know your values.
And exactly. Now that would be the thing that I would say the most if I was just even piggyback off of what you just said.
Right.
Is the value. When you say know what you're looking for, know the value that you want that person to bring.
And the value of yourself.
And the value of yourself. Well, I already said that a little earlier, right? But here's the thing now. What's the value I'm looking for in a person? I want this person. I just don't want this to be, he a good Muslim. What's the one hadith they use? If a person,
brother comes to you, you pleased with his deen and his character.
Right. And then you're supposed to get married.
And we don't have no way of discerning what his deen is like or what his character is like.
But somebody told you he was all right, and then, or he or she is cute, or they're available, and my inner desires and my needs and my sexual frustrations, my need to be touched, my need to be held, my need to have some type of companionship is taking over. It's not, is my emotional irrationality is playing out versus my sensible rationality.
Right, your nefs.
Exactly.
So, all right. So, with that being said, Hassan, you want to talk about our one-day marriage retreat coming up in 2 weeks, August 4th and 5th. That is in 2 weeks, inshallah.
Bethesda, Maryland.
And Bethesda, Maryland.
Yeah, it's Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be the Marriage Myth and Me, Managing the Flow retreat, Maryland, the MTF, Maryland, with myself, Naila, which, we go by that clay couple, Hassan and Naila, and also Imam Shadid Muhammad. The first night is going to be for our unmarried people on Friday night, and then on Saturday night it's going to be with our married couples, and it's a very nice exclusive location. Naila picked it, so it got to match her fly, I guess, as she called it. But
is that Friday and Saturday?
That's
Friday and Sunday?
No, it's actually Friday.
Friday and Saturday.
Right,
okay.
It's going to be Friday and Saturday.
Right.
And so it's going to be nice. We're going to bring this type of information. We're not just going to be there just you to look at us and we can look at you. We are going to be imparting this type of information so you can be the best person to yourself, so you can have the best relationship
with your spouse. So that's Friday, August. That's the
I think
3rd?
That's August 3rd.
Friday, August 3rd, and Saturday, August 4th. So Friday night will be
for the singles.
Friday night will be for the singles, the unmarried,
right.
And Saturday will be for the married couples. So if you want to purchase your tickets, you can still purchase your tickets now. Where can they go to purchase their tickets?
You can actually go to that www that clay couple, and you can register there, or you can go to MTF Maryland. I think that's it on Facebook. And I know we have an event page on Facebook. It's kind of eluding me right now. But check us out. I know it's that Managing the Flow. It's put it in your search. I'm lost now, but put it in your search, Managing the Flow, Maryland, and it'll come straight up. I know it'll come straight up. And, check us out. We're going to be there. It's going to be fantastic. We're going to have catering there. Inshallah, we have the catering there. We're gonna have
what about for those who want to stay the night? For those who are traveling, is there any hotels or anything?
I think there are hotels in the area, and you can actually hit us up at a couple of conversations, or you can inbox us at Hassan and Naila Clay on Facebook, and we can give you more information through our inbox. Or you can hit us up on Google Voice, or you can email us at gli.empowers@gmail.com. That's gli.empowers with an S at gmail.com.
All right, and so you can, and if you want more information, you can email me at imamshadidmuhammad@gmail.com. Or you can go to their Facebook page, Inshallah Ta'ala, and they will, and you can send them a message, or you can email them and inshallah ta'ala, they will direct you. It starts on the 3rd, not the 4th. Yes,
Right.
I stand corrected because I think before I said the 4th.
Right.
Somebody
said that?
Yeah. Okay. I will be giving the khutbah at Irahasa in Maryland, the Institute for Research and Humanitarian Services in Maryland on that Friday. And then that Friday night, we will make our way over to the facility. The facility is a very beautiful facility we have rented out. For those of you who attended our event in Georgia, you know that the place was very beautiful. Do they have a pool?
I think they have a pool there.
There's a pool there. There's rooms. There's an office space. There's space where a conference room, and there will be food. It will be catered. So, what is the price of the tickets?
It's $150 for
the couples.
It's $250 for the couples. It's $150 for
the unmarried.
the individual tickets.
Okay, so it's $250 for the couples. And it's $150 for the unmarried people. And the unmarried, we will be dealing with them on Friday. So if you're looking for marriage, all right, if you're looking for marriage, then yes, you need to show up at the event. Brothers, more particularly brothers.
Exactly.
If you are a brother right now and you are not married and you are looking to get married and making preparations to get married, then you need to find your way to Maryland for this particular weekend.
Because I'm going to tell you, every time we had this event or anytime we've had an event, it's bukus of sisters in there.
Right.
And brothers can't tell me they're looking for wives, and I have a room full of women and not enough brothers there. So, brothers, if you are looking for a wife, you need to be there.
Right.
You definitely need to be there.
All right, so that's so the tickets. You can purchase your ticket, and you can also purchase at the door. But we would prefer that you use the
right,
ticket.
because we need a head count.
We need a head count because we're going to have food. It's going to be catered, so we need to know how many people are going to be there, so we can actually get the food together. Inshallah ta'ala. So that is Friday, August 3rd, and Saturday, August 4th. Friday will be for the unmarried. And then Saturday will be for the married couples. So if you in the Maryland, D.C., Virginia, Delaware, Philadelphia area, South Jersey, North Jersey area, get down to Maryland August 3rd and August 4th, inshallah ta'ala. There are hotels in the area where if you want to spend the night, you want to stay the night over, inshallah ta'ala, you can come. Do the unmarried have to bring their wali? Not necessarily. Brother Hassan, myself will be there. Obviously, if you find someone that, you are interested in, then obviously after that day, you would probably have to,
activating,
activate your wali. But we will be able to, facilitate that for you that night. But anything beyond that, you would have to get your wali involved.
Right. Because believe me when I tell you, there will not be somebody getting married that night.
Nobody will be getting married that
night. Right? So it's not that. So we will help facilitate it to make sure that it's right. But after that, if you do have your wali, your wakil, then you would need to activate them and make sure that the brother gets the number to the brother so they can do whatever he needs to do at that point.
Nah, this ain't Vegas. It ain't gonna be no eloping.
Right.
Nah, sorry. Nah, we're not doing it like that.
No, we're not doing that.
All right, so for those of you who would like more information, you can go to their Facebook page. You can go to their website, inshallah. You can send me an email. Send them an email, for more information, inshallah ta'ala. We're looking to, if you guys enjoyed this discussion, and all we did was pick the crumbs up off the table from what we discussed today, and we just gave you the crumbs that was off the table. So if you were intrigued by what we just discussed within the past 30 minutes, then you need to come on down and get some information to help repair your marriage. If your marriage is stale, even if you just need a refresher,
right?
You need a refresher.
Shot in the arm, right? You need a boost.
Absolutely, absolutely. So inshallah ta'ala, jazakumullahu khairan for your time, bi'idhnillah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallama tasliman kathira wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. And don't forget two things. We don't forget Monday at 12 p.m. We'll continue our series with the ideal Muslim and ideal Muslima. This Monday, inshallah, we will be covering the ideal Muslima. So for those of you brothers who are looking for the ideal Muslim woman, we will be discussing that on Monday. We will be talking about the quality of obedience. of obedience. Many men are looking for a woman who is obedient. Many women have been divorced because they are not obedient. What does it mean to be obedient? What does it mean? What does a man mean when he says, I want a woman who is obedient? So we'll be talking about that, the ideal Muslima, on Monday. That is Monday at 12 p.m. inshallah ta'ala. There was one more thing that I wanted to mention, and that was the release of the book Blended Families, an Islamic approach to non-conventional family structures. All right, and what we'll be talking, what this book focuses on is children, step-parents, step-children in this blended family unit. And that book, inshallah ta'ala, will be available this Saturday coming up, the next Saturday, inshallah ta'ala. The book will be available, inshallah. For those of you who purchased the book online, the books will be mailed out on Monday, next Monday, not this Monday, 2 days from now. The following Monday. I will be going up to New York to get the books on Saturday, inshallah. So I will have those books available. So if you have not purchased your copy, inshallah, please get online, purchase your copy, inshallah, of Blended Families, bi'idhnillah. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.